Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Hire Movement Mastermind. Delighted to help you with your job search strategies here on this Friday morning. I am joined as usual by Vern Schellinger, our expert networking coach, and Tenny Good, who specializes in federal government resumes, and myself. I'm a career coach and a recruiter, and we're all here to help. So as has been happening for a number of weeks now, we have a very small crowd, but that just means that A, people are getting jobs, and B, we are here to have a more intimate time with those of you who were able to join us. So I'd like to just open it up with anybody who has a job search question.
Hello.
Yes, Mohammed.
Actually, I have arrived here in Toronto, newly arrived, and I am not having so much experience. Like, for example, I am having just 1 month experience I have worked just for 1 month in call center and 3 to 4 months in life insurance, and I am looking for a customer services job. But as my experiences are not too much, so please let me know how may I find the jobs which takes or accept newcomers, new entry level jobs, which offers new entry level jobs. So can you please tell me how may I do search for that?
So really, it's as simple as what you just said. Is looking for entry level positions. Those titles tend to be called something assistant or coordinator, representative, associate, those kinds of levels. So when you're looking for a job, if you're looking for something in customer service, it might be called customer service representative, customer service coordinator, something like that. Those are the titles that typically are more on the entry level side. So nothing that's called manager or director, but things that are of a lower level. That's how you would look for them, those jobs.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
One of the things that I want to add to that is if you post your job, post your resume on any of the sites in LinkedIn, Indeed, especially Indeed, Monster, Career Builder, whatever. If you post your resume, the recruiters are constantly scraping through looking for candidates. I get a lot of stuff that's nowhere near what I do, but that's where they get it from. They tell me, okay, I saw your resume on Monster, I saw your resume on ZipRecruiter, and they pull in and tell you briefly about the job and let you know if you're interested, click on this button and you can take it from there.
Okay, great.
Hey, other questions? Marvin.
Good morning, everybody. I don't have a question. I just wanted to kind of, because I got to run to a doctor's appointment, so I just wanted to jump in and just kind of give an update. Thanks, Vern, for the conversation we had the other day, too.
You're welcome.
Great. Back on hold. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, but back on hold. They're doing some organizational changes, and a COO is leaving, and training directors is going to be leaving like the first of the year. So they want to kind of bring me in at some point. I don't know what point, to kind of train under the training director. And so I don't know, but it's just one of those kind of throw your hands in the air and just say, I surrender. Because I don't know which direction it's going. It's kind of excited, hoping to hear something in this offer on Wednesday. Wednesday, I never got a call, an email. Thursday, I called, and they were in this meeting with reorganizing, with the COO just abruptly leaving. So I don't know what's going on with it. So I won't be able to make prayer today. So just keep me lifted, because I'm feeling kind of like, but that's the latest week.
Yeah.
Well, we pray that it goes forward in God's timing, Marvin.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Reorganizations can be when they're happening during the job, when you're interviewing and then they go through a reorganization. It's one of those things that you don't have any control over, and it just then they start to rethink, positions and so forth and so on. But I mean, you've had a lot of positive conversations with them up to this point. So like you say, hopefully you'll still come out of this with an offer some way here.
The director of HR's, I guess, assistant, she's saying they want you, Marvin. Just hold on. You on their mouths. And just hold on. They're talking about you. They definitely want you. So I'm just trying to hold on.
Okay.
I'm feeling like that cat to the sweater, slowly falling.
Well,
Sonia?
I have a question. Does Mastermind, I forget the second word, but does it do practice interviews with the the people around the squares? If you feel the need to do a practice interview, is that something that you all offer?
No, this is really just an open Q&A, what we offer here.
Okay.
That would be a whole other thing, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but just this is the model that we have for now.
And the reason I ask that is because there's so much going on with the interviews that I don't know about the rest of you all, but when I leave, I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, they say, oh, it's good and you'll be hearing from us, and then ghost. So I'm trying to figure out, is it me or is it them? I don't know. So that's the reason I asked about that, but okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I would encourage you, and I would encourage everybody, even a friend, just have them ask you questions in practice. The other thing you can do, which is a little intimidating sometimes, is just, tell me about yourself. Videotape yourself on your iPhone or, smartphone, and, look at yourself and see what they're seeing, and give yourself your own critique. So.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, there's just so many variables in interviews, and and frankly, you don't know who the competition is, and that's more and more important.
Yeah.
Marvin.
You know what? And I was just kind of looking at it, like here at my job of transportation, in the last week, I didn't see 5 people leave, right? I mean, people are like just making this great exodus, and I don't know where they all going, but there's this great big exodus that's happening, and it's like, how do they get jobs? How long have they been looking? Because I mean, it's like 5 people over the last week, and that's a high number, to just walk away out of, leave government and go on. I mean, everybody's saying that they got another job, another offer, but yeah, it's been 5 people in a week. So what any thoughts on that? Like what it is that they may have done, you think, or it's just that whole patience game?
Well, I mean, are you talking about the delay?
Yes, like,
I mean,
I know my delay is about the patience game, but I'm like, if 5 people, and again, I don't know when they've applied for anything, but to just
remember,
see
the government takes time.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Government takes longer, I think, than anybody to make these decisions. There's so much paperwork involved, and even corporations can take time too, with signatures and what have you. So I think it's really just a waiting game. It's
Okay.
What do they say? Hurry up and wait.
Yes. Well, I know the company that I'm looking at, a lot of their work is government work. It's district, it's Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Arlington, Fairfax, they government work. And so maybe that's what it is. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You also have to look at the time of the year. I mean, we just went into September, which for the federal government is almost the end of their fiscal year. So there is like a lot of flurry right now of contracts being awarded. And when they get awarded, then that means warm bodies got to be in seats and ready to go. So some of these people have probably been waiting in the wings until those contracts have been awarded. With the federal government, it's the same thing. I mean, there's a lot of agencies that are trying to get people hired and in positions before the clock runs out on the budget at the end of September. So we're just seeing a lot of activity right now.
All right. So anyone else have a thought, a comment, a question? And also, we used to do this a lot more than we do now. Instead of just questions, anybody have a tip, a job search tip, something that's worked for you in your search? Something creative, something that, you know, could be how you interviewed. It could be how you track your job search. It could be an interesting way you got a lead, job search lead, anything like that. A tip that you've heard from someone else. Yes, Sonia.
I don't have a tip, but I do have a question for all of you all who interview. Is it where you place, say for instance, the interviewer has 10 people they're going to call, and you're the second person, and they got 8 more to go. Is where you, what number you are in the listing, does it make a difference? Do you really remember that second person that you think has done a great job, or is it the last one gets the best shot?
Sonia, since you're an HR person, let me put the shoe on the other foot. When you've interviewed people, which you've interviewed 1 million people over your course of your career, did it make a difference to you?
Well, see, I never did groups. I would narrow it down to 3. You can control that number. But in today's time, I've talked to recruiters, they say, well, we're going to interview 20 people. Do you really remember that? I just, that's my issue.
I mean, look, I can't, who knows what the answer to that question.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is, in my experience, when I meet somebody who is terrific, I make a note about that. And if it was the second person or the 20th person, my notes say that was a terrific candidate. So even if I don't remember everything about the interview in my notes, if I recall like, oh yeah, so-and-so, they were great. And then I narrow it down from there.
Okay, but your experience, Shira, I trust your judgment. We're dealing with kids, young people, I'll say, that are not that experienced. And that's what my concern is.
Sure. Well, I mean, look, we were all of that age at one point, right?
Yeah, but we had different rules too, as far
Yeah.
as what was required.
Yeah.
But
I've
okay,
just
just
had a good
curious, just want to know what you all thought.
No,
And-
that is a really good thought. But I would say, you know, HR generalists who are doing that initial racking and stacking are oversaw by somebody, right? There's a manager over them. But I would agree with Shira. I mean, when you find that diamond, then you usually don't forget the diamond, whether they're number 2, number 7, number 9, whatever the case may be. But I want to go back to something you said, Sonia, because you said when you leave the interview, you don't always know how it is. I mean, walking out of the interview, why do you think that you're leaving interviews and not getting a good feel of how it went?
Well, let me say it like this, Tenny. When I leave, I could tell if I connected or not. But it's just like I say, it's the rules are different nowadays. It used to be if you connected, you know you're going to get a call back.
Right.
When I connect, I think I'm gonna get a call back, but nothing happens. Like I say, they go ghost. They don't even call to say no, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, they just, you know, you're thinking it's good and the conversation is good. And, oh yeah, you will hear back from me.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't hear back from them. And that's the reason I say I don't, because what I'm trying to say is I don't truly believe when you tell me now I'm going to hear back from you. I don't believe it anymore. I used to.
Well, that's the
But-
thing, I'm managing your expectations. I wouldn't believe one way or the other. It's not about you believing it, right? Regardless of what they tell you, they either will call you back or they won't. So you don't have to.
But you leaving me with an expectation that I'm going to get a call back. And you know, my thing is prepare myself for that second level. That's what the goal is, to get past that first level to that second level. If you get to that second level, you feel hopeful that, okay, let me see what else I can come up, what SAR, you know, whatever it is going on.
Right.
By the time, you know, you start preparing the conversation about what you can do to help them be successful, what you can bring to the table.
Right.
But if you don't get that second interview, you're not gonna get that. And that's what I mean when I say, you know, I'm preparing for that next one. But if it doesn't come through, the disappointment is very.
Well, you don't necessarily have to prepare for the second one until they offer you the second one, right? I wouldn't overly spend your time on that. Prepare for the first one. And then when they give you the second one, hopefully, then hunker down for that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't overly spend your time.
I would agree with Shira, Sandra. You know, you do the best you can in each interview, and hopefully you know, and if you move forward, then you prepare for the second interview. Do your best in that first interview, and then search for another job. Spend your time searching for another job.
Yeah, don't hold on to it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't hold on to it, but you know, if you see something that you're really excited, I got one that I'm really excited about. No, it hasn't closed out on me yet, but I haven't heard from. I had told myself I was giving them to today before I reach out. And yeah, before the clock strike 5 today, I will reach out to them to see what the status is, because I was so excited about this. I was smiling and I was putting things out, things I know I could bring to the table to help them out. It was right in my wheelhouse. And she definitely said, oh yes, you will hear back from me. And so I'm sitting here waiting for that. And like I said, I was giving them to today, because this happened last, it was in August. It was Tuesday. It was the 31st of August. And like I said, I know she had other people, because she told me she had all day trying to get this job filled. And I was like, okay, give them time, you know the rules. And so I haven't heard, but she definitely said, oh yes, you will hear back from me. And I left almost giddy. I was almost giddy out of that. And told my husband about it. I was pumped up. And I haven't heard anything. And you know, I want to say, please, please, please call me. You know?
Do you follow up like a week later and say?
Well, that's now. I'm giving them till today.
Yeah.
To reach out to me. And like I said before, the clock strikes 5 today, she'll have an email from me with a follow-up.
Yeah, that's always recommended, because people get busy. And just because they say they're going to follow up doesn't mean that you know the timing of that either.
I know. And I know she was busy. She told me. I went on their site. I saw their job openings. Oh yeah, they're busy. She's busy.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, you know, like I said, I'm very excited. I'm very hopeful. And I want the job just to put it on the table, but it's up to them. So. Yeah.
Well, as I always say in these things, pack your patience. Karen?
Yeah, so about a week ago, I had 2 interviews that went really well. And I sent thank you notes, and they're telling me that they're going to call me after a certain time period. But for years, I've heard you talk about the total compensation package.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know my salary range is above what they want to pay.
Yep.
Can you go over the components of it? Because all the years I've heard you, I've never written it down.
Okay, sure. So the phrase is, I'm seeking a total cash compensation package.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to say in the blank range, but I don't mean the word range. I don't mean range as in 2 numbers. You never give 2 numbers. So you can simply say, I'm seeking a total cash compensation around X. And whatever you put into X, into that blank, is the top end. It's like what I call your happy dance number. Now, if they're already, excuse me, if they're already talking to you, like verbally, if you're having a phone screen, that means
I know
that-
the president of the company contacted me saying that they're going to be talking to me.
Right. So that means that they're interested in you. If you're answering that question already in an interview and some kind of interview, that means that they're interested, which also means that it is in their best interest to try to work with you. So if you say, I'm making up a number. I'm seeking a total cash comp package in the $150,000 range. I'm making that up, all right? And they can't meet that. That's the time that they will say to you, well, actually, the highest we can go is 130. Do you have any flexibility? That's the only time they're going to tell you typically what the top end is. And then you can say, well, as I mentioned, I'm seeking a total cash compensation package. So can we talk about benefits? And so you can kind of pre-negotiate a little bit by asking, about 401k plan, blah, 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 all these different things, right? And then it gives you flexibility to go, if presuming the 130 works for you, right? It gives you flexibility to go for that number because now you've given yourself, because you've talked about total cash comp. So that makes sense.
Okay.
It's a phraseology that gives you some wiggle room. That makes sense?
Okay.
So
We'll see what happens.
Just got to play with it.
They can go gung-ho. I've been there before, and then you never hear from them again,
Yeah. I get it.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else?
Hello.
Yes, Mohammed.
Yeah, actually, I am having a question regarding LinkedIn that I have checked LinkedIn and try to contact the way you told me before last week. But I noticed that most of the people, I can't contact to most of the people. Their profile are blocked or even their messages are blocked. So can you please tell me how to contact them, the LinkedIn users?
When you say that their messages are blocked, what do you mean? What message are you getting?
Like for example, if I went to the profile of a few people of one specific company, so their profile is just coming blocked and it's saying to purchase something like limited access or something purchase.
Oh,
like
I
that.
see. So you do see the name of first of all, you do see the name of the person, right?
Yeah, I
Okay, and
saw.
then when you try to, and then I see. You're trying to send them a message, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay, I know the problem. So you have what's called the basic LinkedIn profile, the basic LinkedIn account. You have not paid for LinkedIn, is that right?
yeah, right.
Okay, that's why. So in order to send a message to somebody who you don't know, you need to be what's called a premium user.
Okay.
And that gives you a certain number. It gives you a certain number of LinkedIn messages, which is actually what they call InMail. Okay, it says message, but it's really something called InMail. And so there's a package that you can get. It's not a lot. You can get like 15 InMails per month. You can get more, depends on what you pay for, but you need to go become a premium user.
Okay.
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 Yeah, that's important.
So how much it cost?
There's different packages. There's ones for like $30 a month, for $60 a month. You have to look at the different packages and see what they give you.
Okay. So isn't it possible that if their emails are available there and I can just take the email from the LinkedIn and then mail them?
No, so the only way you can get an email address is if you're first level connection with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you're second or third level, then you're not going to get the email address.
Okay.
Now you can
I got it.
send them a connection invitation. So let me just pull up LinkedIn really quickly and show you what I'm talking about. So like here's a person, okay? So I'm second level to her. I can hit the connect button right here and then I can add a note and I can say, hi, Lucy. And then I would write a note to her, right? As to why I want to connect with her. It gives you 300 characters to do that, okay?
Okay.
And then you hit send and she'll get the invitation. Now she may or may not see it for a while, but hopefully she'll accept your invitation. I could also, if I open up her profile, that's where you see this message button over here. Okay.
Yeah.
I happen to have premium, so I'm able to. I have a certain number of emails I can use. So when I hit message, you don't see this because you don't have premium, but I have
Yeah.
premium. So I'm
Okay.
able to write her a message. Okay. But what you could do is you go under your profile is the me button. Okay. And it won't say access my premium because you don't have that, but it should give you an option to go
Okay,
into.
Okay, I got you. The other way I think is to follow the person and be engaged with the activities he or she posts, like to get engaged with his or her postings. Do you think that
You
sounds
can
good?
do that. You can do that too. Make a comment, right, on any of their postings.
Yeah.
Sure, you could do that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, other questions?
Shira, I just wanted to comment. This was Joe Weech had mentioned this several times about the site jobs here. So I was able to have good success for a couple of positions that I didn't have an internal contact for. So that was really helpful. So, you know, you would go to jobs here and it would actually tell you what your resume, some recommendations on some words that you were missing on your resume, as opposed to what the recruiter has in the job listings and the contact for that recruiter for the job posting. So that was helpful. That actually got me to the point where we'd get at least a conversation with somebody from the company.
Good. Good to hear. Good to hear. All right, anything else? Any other comments, questions?
Actually, I was wondering that in which type of meetings I can ask you regarding business type questions, like small for the startup of the business. I am having several questions and I want to ask them, but I just want to know which meeting would be better for
Yeah,
that.
so that would be the one that you came to yesterday called BoomerWorks. And I'll just say for those of you who don't know, I run a community service group called boomerworks.org for 50 plus professionals who want every career into self-employment. I mean, we're open to all ages, but it's specifically for 50 plusers. And we have regular meetings. So Mohammed, I know you came to the one we had yesterday, but for those of you who are interested, I'm just gonna share, it's completely free. I'm going to pull this up here. And we offer two different kinds of programs, an educational meeting, and we have something called a growth group. So if you go to boomerworks.org and go to the meetup section and go to upcoming events, this was the one we had last night. And down here at the bottom, we have the rest of our events for the rest of the year. And you'll see that these are the educational programs, but we have something called a growth group right here. So anytime, Mohammed, anytime you see the growth group, that's networking. So it's just a group of people like yourself who come and we just answer your questions. We give you some free advice. So depending upon how many people are in the Zoom call, will depend upon how much time you get, usually about 10 or 15 minutes. You can ask your questions, and it's myself and a couple of other small business experts, and we'll do our best to coach you through your challenge. Okay, so anytime you see a growth group, that's the one where you can get your questions answered.
Okay, so the meeting which is conducted yesterday was recurring, like it would happen next Thursday also, right?
That one was called the discovery meeting. We do those about once a quarter. That's just an introduction to self-employment. So we don't have another one scheduled yet. I'll probably end up doing that early next year. But the growth group is what you want for your, for the questions that you're looking for.
Okay, so do you have the link for this? Can you post the link?
So in the chat box, I'll put BoomerWorks. It's boomerworks.org, and then go to the meetup tab, and then go to upcoming events. Okay.
Boomerworks.org meetup tab, upcoming. Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else?
2
I had a
months.
question for Tenny. Tenny, I know that you mentioned, of course, right now with the federal government, a lot more contracts are being awarded this time of year. Does that, if in any way, play into the, I guess, the hiring cycles for federal jobs? So I guess what I'm really asking is there a preferred time to apply for federal jobs?
That's a great question, and it comes up so much. There's no preferred time other than when you want a federal job, right? Are there highs and lows in the seasons? I mean, is there ebb and flow? A lot of traditional thought is that right now is a good time because of end of fiscal year, people are pushing. And then as end of September comes along, the new fiscal year starts. And if there is budget issues where we're kind of in a lag time, you will actually find that that's when a lot of people don't apply for federal jobs because it's all in the news that they're stagnant, they're not doing anything. But actually we tell our clients that's a great time to put in because there's fewer people applying. And then what happens is when the money drops, then the agencies go crazy trying to find people, and they don't want to start at, step one with someone. They want those people that are already kind of in the pipeline. So it is getting to be a good season to put your name in for positions, but understanding it could be a few months before they actually hire for that position. Does that make sense? Yeah. Great.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
But you do, as Shira says, you do definitely have to pack your patience for federal employment. Yes.
Thank you, Tenny.
You're welcome.
Okay, other questions? We're getting Mike. Mike usually has a question. Hey, Mike, welcome. I was just asking if anyone has any other questions, and you typically do. So any questions from you to add to our discussion? Okay. Well, we could end early. This would be a first to end this early. I want to make sure that I'm giving everybody equal opportunity here. And again, if you have a job search tip, that you'd like to share, that's fine. We're always happy to hear those. Anything that's worked for you in anything in your job search. And by the way, even in a past job search, maybe there was an interesting way you got a job, a technique you used, And by the way, one of the things we always talk about is the power of networking. So huge, so important, so much more important than looking at job boards. I mean, because, with job boards, you are one of just hundreds of people who could potentially be applying. So your competition is through the roof. And when you network, you show up before your resume, right? So your reputation precedes you. And it's so much easier to land that way. And so, we always emphasize networking through LinkedIn, of course, but also remember that the people who know you, like you, and trust you, in other words, your closest colleagues, friends, family members, people you go to worship with, whoever, those are the people who are going to want to help you the most. So don't discount those people. They're very, very important in your life. Even if they're not in your sector, you never know who knows people. You never know. Because everybody's got a wider circle than you would ever imagine. So as long as they know what you're looking for, they are likely to be your champions. So double back on those people. And you might have told them before that you're looking. You can tell them again. Remind them of your job search. Don't worry about that. People want to help. And especially the people who are in your close inner circle. They're the ones who are your biggest champions. They're your biggest raving fans. They want to go run the mile for you, right? And you could work for, I don't know, maybe you're in the government contracting world, but that person's in the hospitality world. It doesn't matter. They could know people. Happens to me all the time, because my network is pretty wide, like yours is as well. And I get people all the time saying, oh, Shira, do you know of anybody who does blah, blah, blah? I'm like, actually, I met this person at this group, blah, blah, blah. And I just make a connection, right? And then that person has nothing to do with what I do in the world, but I met them through something. and then I hook them up, right? So don't be shy about that. Remind your network what you want, what you're looking for, and let them go out also and hunt for you. Okay, so there's a tip
So
there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi. Sometimes, like they ask you for in the qualification for some kind of program or whatever, and you can Google it, find it, like have a knowledge about it. But even when you say that you have knowledge, I don't think they consider that. What do you think? Like, can I say I have knowledge or I know?
So in my mind, there are, and people would use different terminology. My terminology would be there are 3 different levels of ways to describe how well you know a program, let's say, have a skill or a software program: familiar, knowledgeable, and expert, or advanced. Okay, so you could say I'm familiar with this, I have knowledge in it, or I have advanced knowledge. And that depends on how well you feel you know it. So just be accurate. If you are familiar, put that down on your resume. Familiar with. You could even have a little section, like, let's say you call it skills, and then you have all of the different programs. You could have a couple of lines. One line would say advanced, skill, 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 skill. Knowledgeable, skill, skill, skill. Familiar with, skill, skill, skill. So that the employer understands that you have different levels of knowledge.
Thank you.
Okay.
Shira, one thing I wanted to bring up was from a government consulting perspective, we've been working all summer putting bids together. The government is now awarding those bids. So in September, October, we're going to be very busy. We hire key personnel before the bid goes in, but now that the bids are in, once it's awarded, then we have a bunch of people that we need to hire. So look at your government contractors, people that are getting awards will be needing all different types of people. So it's a good time in the next few months.
Great. Thank you for the tip, Rick. Mike?
Yeah, thanks. Good morning. I had a question. I think it's probably more for Kenny, but Rick, based on what you just said, may also be along your lines. Is there any gotchas or nuances for the federal government if they're trying to hire under a schedule?
Mike, are you referring to like a Schedule A?
I'm not completely sure, but I believe so. From what I know, it's not a Schedule C, but it's something different. But I guess it's to shorten the hiring process.
Okay. A lot of times, if they're hiring with the schedules, you can reach out to there's a special coordinator that can actually work that process within that federal agency, so that they know that they have an applicant that's applying, especially like under Schedule A, that can kind of help move along that application a little bit better, can quick track it a little bit better. But it's a matter of finding that coordinator within that agency.
Is there any reason not to use a schedule? I guess that may be another way of asking the question.
Not wanting to get into specifics with you in an open group, but I don't think there is. I'm going to pop my email in the chat box so that if you want to ask me some very specifics on that, we can definitely talk about that.
Okay. And then I think I know the answer to this, but I'm not really sure. From a negotiation perspective, is it difficult or easy for, say, like grades and pay?
Better know my email first. So there you go. Second one's right.
Okay.
When it comes to federal government, you cannot negotiate the grade, but you can negotiate the step. And to do that, you need to bring justification. It's not a matter of just saying, they're going to offer you, say, GS 12, they're going to offer you step 1. if you want a further step, you've got to bring justification, i.e. this is step 6 is closer to what I'm making now at my current employer, my previous employer, or I bring to the table further justification in education, experience, certification, but you can negotiate step, but not grade.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello,
Yes.
Shira, you're there?
Yep, we're here.
Yeah, actually, I have seen that I see that the next coming event would be on 7th October, which is growth, which is a peer networking, right?
Yes, so the Boomer Works, that you're gonna want to go to the growth group. Yes, which is peer networking.
Yeah, so but it is I think the link will be activated at the nearest
That's
time.
right. It's not, yeah, none of what you see on that list yet is activated until about a week and a half before.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
just put it on your calendar, and then you'll come back to the site about a week before, and
Okay.
you'll see the group. And by the way, for those of you who are interested in Boomer Works,
Okay. So
one second, Mohammed. For those of you who are interested in learning about our keeping abreast of our upcoming events, make sure to go to our join button and hit join our community, and just fill out our small little form. And we will, every 2 weeks, we'll send you a notice of an upcoming event. Okay.
yeah, that would be great. Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Shira, I did want to add one thing in regards to what Tenny was talking about in government, getting a government job. One way to get into that and make those contacts is through government contractors. And it's not in every agency, but I can tell you we have a contract with FEMA for these regional preparedness liaisons. We hire the people, they work for us for a year, and then FEMA sucks them up immediately. So that is another avenue to make those connections within the government agency that you want to go to. And so that, you know, that's a way you can be employed, be making those contacts, and then kind of have an inside track to get hired.
Do you
Correct.
recommend any of names of this agency? Do you have like some names?
Government agencies or?
Yes, contractor.
Well, I would say it's specific. Each agency is different. But I know I worked at US Visit as for DHS when I first started with my company as a program manager. And I could have went in, the last program manager before me got hired by US Visit. And so there, you know, if you do a good job and you're dealing with the right people, they can help you get there. But each agency is different. So I can't speak for every agency, only the ones that I know for a fact do that. Tenny may know.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's literally hundreds of federal contractors that work with different agencies. It's just a matter of finding what contractors are working with what agency. So if you are targeting an agency, a federal agency, it would be good to know the federal contractors that work with that agency. And I'm not sure, Rick, I mean, is there a way to weave that web of knowing the contractors?
There is. I don't know. If you Google it, you can find out what companies are doing certain types of work for the government, because we do that when we're trying to steal employees from other companies. We see the companies that are working for them and then see if we can go into LinkedIn or other things just to see who's in there and just get business knowledge. But there is a way to go in through the internet. And if you Google, you know, government contractors working in the CPIC space, which is a financial portfolio management type of program, it'll give you all the companies or a lot of companies that have recently won awards in that type of work. So that's another way of doing that.
There used to be a website, Rick, I don't know if it's still active, that would list the daily awards?
There is, but I don't know what it's called because I'm not really involved with BD, but they do. They
Yeah.
reference that where they go in, when we say we're having a tough time finding XYZ, our COO always goes in and says, well, I just went on business ops, something, or whatever.
I was going
it
to
is.
say, I mean, I have like, BizFed and all of the Fed Compass and all that, but there used to be and I'll look for it for next week, but there was an open website. I used to tell job clients that at 5 p.m. Eastern every day, it would list everybody who was awarded a government contract. And I used to tell, job seekers, hey, start banging on their door because they just got awarded a contract today. They're
Yep.
going to be looking for warm-blooded bodies. Start doing your deep dive on them and start watching their opportunity because they're coming because they need people now. But like you said, you hire the key figures, but now they're going to be needing the team members.
Right.
So I'll look for that website.
Hey, Tenny, is it called Commerce Business Daily?
That doesn't sound familiar, but they could have changed the name. Did you find something that sounds like that?
No, quite some time ago. I've been in GovCon for a very long time, and we used to review Commerce Business Dailies to see what contracts were awarded to what organizations. So just curious if that was the name of it.
It doesn't ring a bell. It
Okay.
doesn't.
Anybody else?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually checked the website and went on Join. So I have seen that there's also option for volunteers. So please, can you tell me how, if I want, how may I volunteer the
Oh,
Boomer
yeah.
site?
No, well, we don't really have volunteer opportunities at the moment, but if you, but I'm happy to keep you in mind. We're pretty lean right now. So not at the moment, but I will definitely keep you in mind if there's something comes up.
No problem. But what type of works I have to do? Like, if any opportunities would be there?
Well, if something comes up, I can let you know, and then you can tell me if it's something that you're interested in. How about that?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
You may have discussed earlier, and I may have missed, so if it's on the recording, I can go back. I was curious if what the reaction has been, or maybe it's too early, to the president's executive order from last night. Are employers losing their minds and or workers?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't have get that up to date. Yeah.
Probably depends on the employer, Mike, or it depends on the employee, but I'm sure some people are losing their minds in the world today. So
I think it's a discussion that's been going on for months. I think a lot of people probably thought this is where it was going to go, and I think we kind of baby stepped up to it. And that's, in my opinion, just talking to some of the lawyers in employment law and working through some policies for organizations. But it's not going to make it any easier to navigate through, because every person is different. Every person has got to make the decision for themselves. And now the employer is just adding another layer to that. So losing their mind I think, happened for several months. I don't know if it's necessarily hit a peak in the last 24 hours. It feels like just a very long losing your mind race. Yeah.
All right, anyone else? Okay, so we will wrap up this formal portion of our session today. And for those of you who would like to stay on for the prayer call, you are certainly welcome to do so. Otherwise, we will see the rest of you next week. Bye, everyone.
bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.